It's over!
It's over! That's what I'm saying, boy!
Oh!
He got dropped in!
It's over! Munoz! Oh my God!
What's going on, guys? UFC 294 is just a couple days away, and the shakeups at the top have kind of made this card one of the most anticipated of the year, even though the short notice fights have caused for some wide odds to be seen. But nonetheless, we're going to do a bunch of breakdown and preview videos for the fights on the card, and we're going to start on the early prelims and work our way up. I'll pair these all together and make one long form video, but we're going to start with some single videos, and we're going to start with a middleweight bout that has pay-per-view prelim written all over it. Is a super exciting fight and just great matchmaking for a debuting fighter with a lot of excitement headed into his UFC debut. This honestly could be a super good fight, a ridiculous fight between two stand-up strikers who don't like to lose and who have some pretty incredible chins. We start with who has been in the UFC for a little bit, Bruno Silva, back in the octagon for his third time in 2023 in what was a back and forth 2023 for him. His 4 UFC wins are finishes, and 3 of them had him receiving a performance bonus, and he will meet the newly signed TFC middleweight champion and AG light heavyweight champion Sharaputdin Magomedov, a middleweight with experience, like I said, in the light heavyweight division. The Dagestani actually isn't a wrestler like you'd think. He is actually a great distance manager and an exciting striker. He has 10 knockouts on his undefeated 11 fight record, and it sees him come into the UFC octagon as more than a 2-1 favorite. His record is actually a little bit of a farce too. He's competed in unofficial MMA bouts as well, and he has 5 wins and no losses in those contests as well. So this guy is a seriously dominant fighter. You can look at breakdowns of his stand-up abilities in other videos on YouTube. I will tag them in the description if you want to learn more about this guy. But he's wild. He's at out of octagon altercations, punching people on escalators in malls, and he hates to lose. In a jiu-jitsu competition, he kicked his opponent. But this guy is still a great striker who has great knees, great hook kicks, great distance management with his teeps to the body, etc., and he lands at an extremely high clip. The biggest downside to him is that we haven't seen anything against the elite level competition of the UFC, but his style does make it so that in the middleweight division that's full of strikers, he will be a formidable opponent for anybody, including Bruno Silva. Silva, on the other hand, he has been a striker's welcome to the UFC middleweight division. He fought Alex Pereira in his second UFC bout, and in which Pereira landed 108 significant strikes, including some massive left hands in the first round against Bruno Silva, and he didn't land a single knockdown on Silva. Silva has shown a little bit in the takedown department in that fight when he knows he's against a good striker with bad takedown defense, and Magomedov, actually, the weakest part of his game is definitely the takedown. So Bruno, those takedowns that he landed against Alex Pereira, we might be able to see them come to fruition again in this fight. It's a ridiculous matchup again, though. Both of these guys are primarily strikers. Bruno Silva's landed a bunch of knockouts in his UFC career. This guy's coming into the UFC being basically only a striker, doesn't want this fight to hit the mats, and Bruno's never been TKO'd, so a great performer, a great fighter to put against the newcomer in his debut. And 90% again of Bruno Silva's losses are via submission, which he shouldn't really have to worry about in this fight. It's either going to be an historic finish where he's going to be TKO'd, or he's going to lose a decision, which he doesn't often do either. So this fight is going to be a good one, entirely odds-based. With that all in mind, I think the only play here, if you're backing a fighter, and those are the only lines we have right now, is probably Bruno Silva as a huge underdog. But I'm going to be interested in the takedown lines, if Bet365 has any of them, on the Bruno Silva side. I'm super excited for this one. The opening fight of UFC 294, it's going to set the standard for UFC 294. But let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys think is going to win? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.